My problem with Christianity started in my primary 5. I began to have misunderstanding with Christian as far back as my primary 5. The teacher walks into the class and gives us a simple test. He says, if there are 10 birds on the tree and the hunter comes from nowhere and shoots one bird, he says, how many birds are going to be remaining? Follow me carefully. If there are 10 birds on the tree and the hunter comes and shoots one bird, he says, how many birds are going to be remaining on that tree? And everybody inside that class wrote 9, 9, 9. And then I picked my book and I wrote 0. So we submitted. And eventually the lecturer came and after marking the paper, he lied all the other students down and began to flog them. And then he told them that this guy that wrote 0 was correct. He says immediately the hunter shot one bird, all the other remaining 9 birds will fly away. That means when you harm or when you terrorize one bird, the other birds are not that too foolish to continue residing on that tree. Then I went to the Sunday school the next Sunday. And the teacher began to preach. He says, a man called Elijah was offended by little children. And Elijah commanded, and two bears came down and devoured 42 children. I said, excuse me, sir. He says what? I said, it's impossible, sir, for 2 bears to devour 42 children. Because if the 2 bears catch the first child, catch the second child, the remaining 40 children will run away. And this becomes a very high disturbing question for the teacher, who was trying without logic to convince me into believing that a bear caught 42 children. We are devouring children one after the other, while the 42 children were there waiting and watching at him until he finished devouring them. How impossible is it, as a human being who have reasoning, that a bear or even a lion attacked 42 children, and while he killed the first one, gripped the second one, killing them, the other 40 children were standing there watching him? High level of illogicality and unreasonable fairy tales told at moonlight play to entertain children. I equally always like to give these examples. I said, if you assemble like 1,000 people today and tell people and call a man, like call me Ihedi, and tell me Ihedi starts to name all these animals, all these human beings one after the other, 1,000 people, 1,000 crowd of people, you assemble them and call a single man like Ihedi to name them, I will start naming them with energy and strength. But at a certain point, you discover that I will start repeating names, because the names of my head is finished. I will start repeating names I have already called. This is natural, because I am a human being and my brain is a memory. So it is impossible for me to name up to 1,000 human beings without repeating name. But somewhere, someday, a man still was persuaded through scripture to believe that a man called Adam was single-handedly the person who named over billions of animals in this earth. A man called Adam single-handedly began to name elephant, name lion. From which alphabet? Because we are told that language emanates from alphabet. So it was high level of illogicality. It was high level of unreasonable, ridiculous human beings that we are made to believe more than we know at early child. Because belief is the replacement of understanding. Belief is the opposite of akonuche. Because in akonuche, but when belief okukwe came and replaced akonuche, you will now accept that what I say kerosene. And then somebody there is trying to tell you, let us practicalize so that we know if actually this what I say kerosene. You says no, I should just believe it, that what God says is that water is a kerosene. But what always makes people to resonate is the consequences of the error. So we will always, in all our energies, make the African youth to realize that they have been trapped in the cage of mind colonization through a fairy tale, a moonlight play tale that was told in our olden days. I asked a Christian who is my friend. I told my friend who was a Christian, I asked him a simple question. I said, if you are owing me 5 million naira, you are owing me 5 million naira as a friend. And then I've been asking you this 5 million for a very long time now. But every time I ask you this money, you say you don't have this money. Then I discovered all of a sudden that you are organizing a birthday party for your daughter, which you are going to spend over 5 million naira for it. As a human being, I will be angry. I will be offended, because you are owing me and you are spending. So that night when you are hosting this your daughter's birthday, I sent my gate man. I said, my gate man, go to this my friend's house. Tell this my friend to give you this 5 million naira he's owing me. And if he doesn't give you that 5 million naira, tell him that your boss says this night, give me this 5 million. So my gate man set out to my friend's place to go and collect the 5 million my friend was owing me. And then I picked my phone and I called my friend who was only owing me money. I said, and told my friend, I says, This my gate man that is coming, do not give him a dime from my 5 million. I repeat, do not give anybody, even my gate man, a dime from this my 5 million naira. And so my gate man got there, and my gate man began to ask you. My gate man says, my master sent me to come and collect the debt of the 5 million naira which you are owing him. And then because you have spoken with me, you told my gate man that you're not going to give me any money. So my gate man returned back and delivered the message. And then the next morning, I came to your compound with armed forces men, DSS, police, or whatever it is. And before you know it, I begin to kill all the facts, all the sons in your compound. And before you know it, I begin to kill all the animals in your compound. I shoot all the animals. And before you know it, I poison all the plants. I asked that my Christian friend, I said, which type of a human being I am? My friend says, I am a terrorist. Then I laughed. I said, in this story I just told you now, I who did this thing is like the Bible God. My friend who borrowed me money or who owed me this money is like Pharaoh. The gate man is like Moses. And the debt is like the Israelite. So Pharaoh was owing or controlling the children of God, which is the Israelites, against the will of God. And now God want to free him or want to collect him away from Pharaoh. So God sent his gate man, who is Moses, to go and collect the people of Israelites from Pharaoh. And why the gate man Pharaoh is going there, the Bible recorded in Exodus that God hardened the heart of Pharaoh so that he does not listen to the voice of Moses, just because he wants to showcase the people of Egyptians that he knows how to kill people. And the first thing he did was that he began to kill the first sons of the Egyptians. He began to wipe their cloth. He began to kill every living human being there. The Bible God chose to kill all the first sons of Egyptians than to kill Pharaoh, who was holding the Israelites from freeing away. You see, this is fairy tales that depict or that enumerate what wickedness at its apex means. That Bible God was a terrorizing creature of animals, and it was in our sense of awakening that we have to come to a point where we will light up the candle in African youth to understand that using fairy tale we have been conditioned our mind just like in a cage, because birds that are born in a cage think that flying is an illness. Birds born in a cage think that flying is an illness. So when you come out with an unpopular opinion, they regard you as Satan. But Africans fail to understand that this concept called Satan is actually a one man with a different collective opinion which was used to control the people. Satan simply represents one man that tells the truth. Go and read Bible from Genesis to Revelation. There was never any time the Satan lied. The Satan was actually the first person who came to Eve in the Garden of Eden and began to speak to Eve. He says, if you eat this fruit, you will not die. Does God say that if you eat this fruit you will die? He says you will not die. If you eat this fruit you will gain the knowledge to differentiate between good and evil. And then when you eat this fruit you will become like God. Satan speaking to Eve from the sincerity of his heart. And when Eve actually ate that fruit, automatically the eyes of Eve opened. That means Satan is just one man who have a different opinion, standing to tell the truth against the collective ideology that was used to trap people. So because the Bible God wanted to hide knowledge from people who he created, that Bible God is the government of the European. They restrain knowledge. Network is honestly frustrating me. Network is frustrating me. But it's alright. So Satan was actually the one man who have an opinion that was against the collective opinion that was used to rule massive number of people. So when Satan approached Eve and told Eve that if you eat you will get... This network is really frustrating me. This network is really frustrating me, but it's alright. Let's continue. So Satan actually was that man who has a single opinion, who made Adam and Eve to eat a fruit which will make them to realize knowledge. Then the Bible God... network is frustrating me, honestly. I don't know if you are still together. Let me know that we are together. The network is honestly weakening my energy. The network is weakening my energy. Are we So Satan is simply one man who have an ideology that was different or stands the test of the truth against a collective idea that was used to control massive number of people. So network na akpali onwe guy. Tomorrow now, if I want to talk, I will start preaching. God, please let there be network. It becomes a prayer point for me. A revelation of the inefficiency of the MTN setting their mass. Network is fucking up. My ring light in Goteleba. Mahomo didn't get Google Warriors na Halisim ring light. Unwobel on your. And Mahomo, a bullet be baby go come she will go cog. Vule Akalamada Vunim. Anamanga Nepa, Anamanga network. Yan neighbor prayer points in Nigeria. I don't know what the lock I'm not by your calling light. So Satan was actually somebody, a young man who have a different idea, who stands to tell the truth from a collective ideology that was used to control or to enslave the mindset of the people. So the Bible God now recorded, it says, the Bible God says to himself, see yet now that man has eaten this fruit of the knowledge of good. Therefore he has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Underline the word one of us. If God was actually guys, let us finish.